New Jersey Devils versus everybody. Am I right? Hashtag NJD versus everybody. So which side do I fall on this year? Well, last year I predicted they might get a little bit better. Not much. Not much to be made of this team. They're still rebuilding. And then they made the playoffs. And they looked pretty good against Tampa in the first round. They were overmatched. But it's a learning experience for guys like Hischier. 97 points this past season, which is a 27-point increase over 2016-17, which was a down year. They had 84 the year before, 78 the year before that, 88 the year before that. So they should drop. Right? Well, maybe. Let's take a look at it. Top 5 cap hits. Schneider and Hall are tied for first on the team, and I want you to think about that for a second. So Taylor Hall is an MVP of everything, and Schneider was an MVP of not much of anything last year. And I'm going to say straight up, and right admittedly, first minute here, Schneider had a bad year. Number 2 on the cap hit list, Zajac, followed by Vatanen, followed by Palmieri, followed by Marcus Johansson. He changed it to a hard J when he went to Jersey, didn't he? It was Johansson, then Johansson. Anyways, they do this just to mess with me, and they know what they're doing. But Johansson's going to be UFA next summer, so we'll see what Johansson's worth then. The plus player for this team this past season was Kincaid. And I never lost faith in Kincaid, even when Devils fans were telling me he wasn't playing well. I knew Kincaid could do it. And I think he still can this year, but I don't know if they turn to him as the starter, if that's the answer. So I think Schneider's going to get a shot at it, but Schneider had hip surgery. So he's out, and we don't know if he's going to be ready for the season. And when I hear hip surgery and it's a goaltender, it does make me nervous. Makes me very nervous, to be honest. Because that's your lateral movement right there. MVP, of course, is Hall. Hall's the one that makes this team go. Hall had a career year. He is number 1 among their forwards. I don't rank the forwards by who's number 1 through number 6 or defensemen by number 1 through number 4. I just rate top 6, top 4, and go with that. But Hall is far and away the best player on the team. That being said, Nico Hischier, I think, is going to improve this year. Palmieri, solid player. Johansson, and whether it's Zaka or Zajac at the number 2 center spot, it's probably going to be Zaka eventually. I'm waiting for that breakthrough by Zaka and Bratt. And then their depth is really solid all the way through their lineup right now. Top 4 defensemen, I still don't like that Green gets so many minutes. They need somebody else to come in and get those minutes. The good news is, Vatanen looked good after an initial shaky start as a Devil. Butcher, Santini, and Severson are your top 4 candidates. Damon Severson, I love the kid. Will Butcher came out of nowhere, played less minutes than I think he will this year. I think they'll bring him along more into a stronger role with the team. The only addition, really, Greiba. So where Devils fans got frustrated this past offseason was that their GM, Ray Shero, didn't really make any additions. And that's after they made the playoffs in 2018 for the first time since a long time. Since they made the Stanley Cup final. This was the first time. Losing in the first round, of course. They've been in the playoffs 23 out of 44 years, this Mickey Mouse organization. Thank you very much, Wayne Gretzky. John Hines is entering his 4th year as coach. And I would think that job's pretty solid right now. I don't think he has anything to worry about. The Devils are interesting, though, because there is all this youth. There's all this potential. And there's a part of me that still says, they may have overachieved last year. But I don't see any reason to pick them to fall back either. And I think they're kind of a pick to fall back, move forward, stay the same. Like there's a lot of division on where New Jersey's going to finish in their division. And maybe it's because it's the Metro and the Metro's really all over the place. But that definitely seems to be an issue. For me, it could very well come down to goaltending. Kincaid over a full season. Can Schneider get healthy and play like Corey Schneider? I still believe in Corey Schneider. If any of my 3 favorite teams traded for Corey Schneider and said, "Oh, we're going to go with him as the starter," I wouldn't be that nervous. But that being said, Schneider is no longer a rookie. He's no longer a kid. And some of these issues, like the injury issue that he's having right now, which is, it just seems like everything just snowballs with him, and it just seems to keep building, and not in a good way. But here's to pulling for a solid, healthy season for him. Potential rookies, Michael Mcleod will get his chance to get a shot at the roster. John Quinville was kind of expected to be in the roster this past season. I have an asterisk next to him because he's not a rookie, technically, because he's played too many games over 2 seasons to be considered a rookie, but he will get his shot this year. And I'm very interested to see what happens with Jacob Mcdonald, a defenseman who scored 20 goals for their farm team this past season, who's kind of come out of nowhere. And the funny thing is, I don't remember hearing a whole lot about him during the season even. It's just while I was researching for this video, I was like, oh, okay, so, I look at their AHL team, I'm like, oh, 20 goals, and I'm like, defenseman. Okay, that's got to be wrong. That can't be right. Now, when you look at this top 4, if this Mcdonald kid can play power play, he may get a shot at some pretty serious minutes on the power play. Because, again, Green has been a warrior for these guys for a long time, but he's 35. He's almost 36. And you're going to have to start dropping that ice time down. If you have a rookie like a McDonald out there with a more veteran presence on the blue line and a power play, their power play could be really deadly this year. And that's with guys like Hall and Heischer up front. I like the Devils, to be honest. When I was trying to figure out where I thought everybody was going to finish, I was like, I like the Devils. Now, what I think works in the Devils' favor is that this is a division that seems to be in flux, where you've got some teams that look like they're probably on their way down, some teams that look like they may improve a little bit, but yeah, it's a tricky team to pick. And Devils fans have been on me a lot this summer about, let's talk more about the Devils. And I get it, but it is a tough pick. Let's get into how the channel vote went. 1.6% has them first. 3.9% has them second. That means 5.5% of the channel voted for New Jersey to be a top 2 team. And they could be onto something. But the problem with that is you're betting on them passing either Washington or Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh, but 1.6% think they're going to be better than both Pittsburgh and Washington. I smell Devils fans on that 1.6 out of 100 votes. Just throwing that out there. I think those are probably mostly Devil fans. Third place, 15.8%. And this is where there's no real agreement among everybody. 26.3% have them in fourth. 29.7% have them in fifth. 17.4% have them in sixth. 3.9% in seventh. And 8 out of 1,000 say, forget it, they're going right back down to the bottom. So, the channel, the number 1 vote seems to be fifth. But anywhere from 3 to 6 was a popular spot for them. Personally, and again, because it's the Metro Division, it's really hard to get a read on where everybody is. And it is a tough division to pick. It really is. And again, it's because of that. Look at that. Almost every team we look at in this division, you're going to see a spread. Okay, not the Islanders. But you're going to see, maybe not the Rangers either, but you're going to see a spread with most of the teams in this division. Because I think you have Pittsburgh and Washington are 1 and 2 on most ballots. The bottom, you're going to have the Rangers and Islanders on most as well, or Rangers, or not Islanders, or Islanders and Carolina, or Islanders and Rangers. But the rest of them, pick them. It depends on Schneider. It depends on a guy like Butcher making that next step. Bratt proving he's not a one-year wonder. Heischer putting up the totals, and them not missing a couple of the guys they lost, like a Gibbons. If they can absorb losing a Brian Gibbons, who again not a big name, but he was big for them in the first half of the season last year. Personally, and I'm agonizing over this, so if it seems like I'm stalling, it's true. I see them as fourth, but I'll say this: I really want to put them third. I really do. And I want to put them third despite the seeming lack of top-end number one guys on that blue line. And I like Vatanen as much as anybody else, or Severson, but looking for that really big, you know. And I just did a Nashville video, so that makes it even more apparent to me. And the fact that the goaltending is still kind of shaky. And I don't mean shaky that Kincaid shaky, just with Schneider. I mean, I know Lack's going to come up. Lack's the number 3. So some of it may be about Eddie Lack and whether or not he can come in and play. But again, this is a tough situation, and yet I'm optimistic. I really want to put them third. I look at what they have, I look at where they're at, and I think fourth. So, yeah, with some reservation, I've got them in fourth. But this is a good team that made the playoffs for the first time in a while, and I think they're going back again. But I apparently am far more optimistic than over half the channel about the New Jersey Devils. So there you go. New Jersey Devils versus everybody. I would say you guys are against 8 out of 1,000. If you count 7th as being against you guys, you're against 4.7 out of 100. And if you include 6, you're against 22 out of 100. So about 22% of the fans. I sometimes think the New Jersey Devils versus everybody is a nice rallying cry. But I think a lot of fans who aren't Devils fans are understanding how well the team played and how dangerous this team can be. The next step, of course, get out of the first round. Can they do that this year? We'll see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.